I couldn't believe this man just won a $9 million lotto jackpot and had the nerve to ask me for money. Instead of what I thought would be a phone call saying thank you, he told me to pay him. You see, this man was one of the hundreds of people who've used my method to win a large sum of money by playing the lottery, and he had the audacity to ask me how much I would pay him to say he used my method on national TV that night. I was furious and in complete shock. I mean, this guy, whose name I'll keep private because he still hasn't apologized, really asked me for money minutes after hitting it big using my own personal method for $9 million. And I completely hated thinking about what would have happened if I didn't hang up the phone and compose myself. You see, even before the day I hit my fifth lottery win, $842,152.91, I'd been on such a rush, which produced an incredible amount of winnings in the last 3 months just by playing the lotto and using an easy method I'd created to predict winners. I'd finally been able to clear up all of my debts, some of which had been lingering over me for years. I'd taken my family on a 10-day Alaskan cruise, where we stayed in the penthouse suite, living like royalty as we enjoyed all the daily activities they had to offer. I was able to buy my son all the clothes he'd been wanting for years, new running shoes, the latest video games, the latest toys, everything. I even just closed the deal on my dream house, a gorgeous house with a resort-style pool in a quiet and safe neighborhood in the best school district in the entire county. So, with that being said, you're probably wondering who the heck I am. Hi, my name is Richard Lustig, and I'm the only person in the world who's a 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. How many other lottery gurus can claim that and have the proof to back it up? First off, you can find actual documentation of my winnings right on the Florida Lottery website, flalottery.com. You can also find me on Google. I've been asked to appear on national TV several times to share my lottery winning method. Here I am on The Rachel Ray Show. Here I am with Mike Tyson. Here I am with Robin Roberts from Good Morning America. No one, and I mean no one, has ever won 7 lottery game grand prizes. I know because I was recently recognized by Ripley's Believe It or Not. Because of my rare feat of winning 7 times, I've been on the Learning Channel, Good Morning America, Fox and Friends, The Today Show in Australia, and many more. Winning all this money was nice, but I eventually came to the conclusion that if I was going to keep using this revolutionary method I developed to crack the lotto code and keep building long-term wealth by putting more and more money in the bank with it, I'd needed to start being a little more cautious. Because here's the reality. Once you know how to crack the lotto code, which is what I'm going to share with you in this short presentation, there are going to be tons of people who aren't going to be happy about it. That's the secret to how I've been successful, winning the lottery jackpot 7 times and 23 times in the last few years. These winners weren't all major jackpots, by the way. Some of the tickets were just for $6,000 or $13,000. Not enough to make you wealthy, but definitely enough to make your life a whole lot more comfortable. People like Larry from Iowa, who came forward with his wife Kathy to accept their $9.09 million jackpot. He told lottery officials and media that after Kathy saw this guy on TV, Richard Lustig, who'd won a bunch of lottery game grand prizes, she bought his book and they started playing just for fun. And Jennifer and Sean from Florida, who says, "My husband and I used Richard's method, and within months we hit a mega money jackpot for $2 million. We'll only play lotto from now on using these strategies." And Richard Taylor Crisfield from Maryland, who says, "I decided to purchase an entire package of scratch-off tickets, Maryland Lottery Ravens. I utilized my winnings to purchase another package, and in that package, December 2011, was a $250,000 winning scratch-off ticket." If you'd asked me 20 years ago if there was some secret to winning the lottery consistently, or to really know in advance what the winning numbers were going to be, I would have more likely than not laughed in your face and called you an idiot. I mean, I did know that to some extent the games all had to be beatable because they'd been created by humans, and as a result it was impossible for them to be perfect. But if winning the lottery not just one time but even many times was so simple, then we'd all be millionaires, right? There's no way in hell of that, I thought. And even for the first half of my life, I'd never even purchased a lottery ticket. But it all quickly changed for me in the 1980s in Florida. Just like everybody else, I had dreams of winning it big. And just like everybody else, I'd win a few bucks here and there, but nothing to write home about. I kept watching many lottery jackpots hit over and over. It was all anyone on the news or at work was talking about. Now, I did have job security, but it didn't pay much and I was always piled high in debt. Something that always seemed to be weighing my family down and stopping us from getting ahead in life. And I almost always felt like I was just barely getting by. I definitely was never in a position to purchase or even drive an elaborate sports car, or to live in a wonderful home where I felt like my family would be both comfortable and safe. And there were many months I was uncertain about where the money would come from to pay for my kids' school supplies, or to put 3 healthy meals on the table. I mean, we weren't extremely poor, but we were struggling. And of course, like so many other Americans, I was tired of it. I knew something had to be done for me and my family. We couldn't live like this anymore. Rather than settle for losing each time, I began trying and experimenting with different ways I could increase the odds of winning. Now, I wasn't really winning at this time, but I knew I was on the right track. I just knew that if I got really good at putting as many odds in my favor, I could beat the lottery and win on a consistent basis. After that, it was back to the old routine, working extremely hard for barely any money, trying to give my child a normal life, even though his parents were always either at work or very tired. I continued to try everything. I'd sit at the Florida Lottery website for hours on end and try to reverse engineer and work my way backwards to figure out what led to winning. I spent hours trying to find winning patterns. I also started writing down the strategies that worked and quickly tossed out those that didn't. I was on the right path to winning as I began to win more and more each time. As I was winning even a little money at the time, there were many people who wanted to be your friend, but they may not all have the best intents. That's actually something very important, and you're going to need to remember, because after I show you how my winning number method works, and you start winning a hefty payout pretty much every month, you're going to have tons of friends, family, neighbors, and even complete strangers trying to ask you for money. So, please, make sure you're smart about your winnings. It was truly fascinating to see what was transpiring here. I became hooked on studying the winning drawings for all the different major lotteries each night. To see if the formula I was working extremely hard on was showing any potential, for what felt like a long time, about a little over a year I would say, I had nothing to show for all my hard work. And then, it suddenly happened. I was on one of the hundreds of variations of the formula I was developing, and I just used it to try to calculate the winning numbers for the latest Fantasy 5 drawing. Like clockwork, I went online to check what the actual winning numbers were, but what I saw made my jaw drop almost to the floor. The method I'd been slaving over had accurately predicted every single number, all 5 of them. Well, at first I was pretty upset. If I'd actually purchased a ticket using my numbers, I would have won a ton of money. That felt horrible, and I started beating myself up for being stupid until it dawned on me. The formula I'd been constructing and perfecting for nearly 20 years appeared to have worked. Of course, it could have been a coincidence, so I had to just keep trying it. But you better believe I didn't just stand on the sidelines and watch any longer. Instead, I took around $50 and purchased tickets to several different popular lotto games. Games like Mega Millions, Powerball, Fantasy 5, etc. And sure enough, boom, there it was. I was holding a $13,696 Florida Fantasy 5 grand prize winner right in my hand. And a short while after that, boom, there it was again. I'd hit the mega money jackpot for a whopping grand prize of $842,000. Then, another short time after that, I won again when I locked in another Fantasy 5 ticket worth $73,658.06. It was amazing. I couldn't believe what was happening, and it all felt like a dream. Until I drove down to the state lottery office, collected my checks, and put them in the bank. You probably don't need to be told how great that felt, to all of a sudden not have to worry about money anymore, to be able to pay off your debts, to purchase an Infiniti for your wife, or a Jaguar for myself, or a BMW for your kid, or really any car you've ever imagined getting. To see the expressions on the guys at the dealership faces when they ask to run a credit check on you and you say, "No, I'll just go ahead and pay cash." Or be idolized by your entire family, to quickly make more money in a couple months of playing the lotto than you'd earned in the last 5 years of working 40, 50, 60, or even 80 hours per week. Well, over the next couple of months, I kept using my formula, and I won 2 more lottery game prizes. Eventually, turning this into a plug-and-play lottery winning method, I've nicknamed it Lotto Dominator. You can finally start winning lotteries and might have the chance to accomplish anything you want in life. It's something that anyone can do. Even if you have problems with simple math, it doesn't matter, because it's so easy. And that's exactly what Bill Berryman in Melbourne, Australia did. I picked up $46,000 last week in our Powerball lottery as a result of keeping the same numbers. And Kevin, who's now winning consistently using my methods. Before your methods, I played for 20 years. The most I ever won was $86. Now, I win about $100 a week. I even won tickets of $1,000 and $5,000. I've won $23,075 since. And another review from Jason in Kansas City, Missouri, who won big using my methods while playing the $100 million blockbuster scratch-off. Oh my God, I won $10,000 today on the $100 million blockbuster scratch-off. I can't believe it. I'm looking at the card over and over again. Now, it's important to understand you're not going to win every time. You may also not win the Powerball jackpot next week. Sorry to say, but that's just being truthful. However, if you're fine with possibly winning $3,800, $14,600, $35,000, etc., on the tickets you buy on a pretty frequent basis, and also once in a while hitting a smaller-sized jackpot that's worth between $200,000 and $3 million or so, doing it over the course of about every 3 to 6 months, then the Lotto Dominator method I've created will work perfectly for you. All right, so you're probably pretty anxious to know how my secret formula works, and I'll give you all the details right now. 1. Start writing down the previous winning numbers for each of the games you want to play. I personally recommend you get a fresh legal pad that you use solely for this purpose. If you don't already have one, you can quickly buy one from Walmart, Office Depot, or Dollar General for less than $1. 2. Once you have the winning numbers for at least 7 previous drawings, you can look these up online in just a few minutes, you plug them into the simple formula I teach you inside the Lotto Dominator method. The formula is based on lots of complex mathematics, but I've done all the hard work for you. so that you just basically need to add and divide a couple of numbers. Use a calculator if you choose to, but even most 7-year-olds will be able to do this mentally without any issues. 3. Go purchase your tickets based on the winning numbers my formula gives you. Practically every single lottery game in the world is based on the same mathematical values, which means that the formula you'll be getting works for all of them. So, play as many games as you want, but don't spend more than $20 or $25 because there's no reason to. 4. You may find out that you've won only a small prize of a few $1,000s or so the first time. Or you may not win the first time at all. Either way, don't get discouraged. The numbers don't lie, and it will only be a short matter of time before you're going to hit. 5. As a good rule of thumb, I usually focus on winning once or twice per month, for a payout of around $15,000 to $20,000. Some months I may only win $10,000, and other months I may hit numerous winners or a jackpot, and find myself cashing a check for $200,000. Winning a jackpot is an unbelievable feeling, but I think it's important to set realistic expectations, which is why I say to go for $15,000 to $20,000 per month or so. 6. Keep repeating for as long as you want. This can become your full-time job if you want it to, and you'll be astonished at the long-term stability. All lotto games in the world have the same principle, so this will always work for you, even if a certain game is no longer available or a new one is released. That's really it. It's probably in your best interest to hire a financial planner and an accountant after your first couple wins. While sometimes they can sort of be the fun killer, they'll really help you make sure that you're investing your hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars wisely so you can turn the cash you win into even more money. Oh yeah, and also, you might want to donate some of the money you made to charity or a good cause. Not right away, because you'll probably be more focused on making large cash payments to settle any debts you may have, or buying your new house, or getting your spouse a new Infiniti, or taking your child on vacation. But if you've won your 4th, 5th, 12th, maybe even 20th time over a few-year period, I think it's really important to stay humble and to give a little back to some well-deserving charity. One of the most valuable lessons I learned after being extremely wealthy now is to give back and to help other people who are less fortunate. After you reach a certain amount in the bank and you have everything you've been longing for, the money in the bank account would just be a number. Believe me, giving back will provide more pleasure than having all the money in the world. Okay, so by now you're probably wondering how you can get your hands on Lotto Dominator. Well, I've had so many friends and family members ask me that same exact question, and for a while I was pondering what the best way to share this information would be. Eventually, what I decided to do was take my formula, along with some other essential tips and pieces of inside info I've collected over the years, and put them into an online guide that anyone could read and download directly from their computers, tablets, or smartphones, or even print out as many copies as they want. I think that by giving you the access to the same formula I've used to hit several pretty major winning tickets over the past few years, it could be kind of like my version of giving back, which is, as I mentioned, an extremely important thing to me. Plus, I remember how horrific it is to feel like you're financially struggling, like you're always getting endless bills, like there's just always some unpredicted expense popping up that makes you ask, where are we going to get the money to pay for this? I'm not trying to say this is you because honestly, I don't know. But what I am saying is I remember how much it pained me to always say no to my kid when he tried to put a $5 box of his favorite fruit snacks in the cart while we were grocery shopping. Or he brought a $10 new toy up to the checkout line, and I really couldn't jeopardize buying it for them and not being able to pay our electric bill. And I love that feeling of financial security I now experience every day. I love that new car smell that all of my luxury vehicles have. And I love that my kid's college fund now has $50,000 in it, cash that's 100% safe, and that will give him an incredible head start for the rest of his life. Lotto Dominator is only available here on this website, and I can't let too many people know it exists because, while I do want to give it back, if everyone had access to this incredibly easy but proven formula, well, it could seriously shut down the entire lottery industry, and then no one would win. Up until now, I've had it priced here for $300. That may sound like a lot of money, but if you're winning even just $3,000 in your first month, which is a lot less than almost everyone else who has used this method and won, then you can see why $300 is a pretty small investment. But, like I said, I had it priced at $300. That was in the beginning. But today, I'm going to do something a little bit crazy. You see, right now I'm limiting the number of copies of Lotto Dominator. After that, this website comes down and no one else can get it because, like I talked about before, we can't have too many winners here. Which is why I've decided to cut the price of Lotto Dominator even more, so that you don't have to pay $300 for immediate access to the life-altering information that's inside, and make it available to you today for just $97. And you can get it now by clicking that Add to Cart button you see below this screen here. But if you do want to beat the lottery and start winning on a full-time basis, it's very important that you act right now. Many hard-working and deserving people without much money have been pleading with me for months to give away my method like I'm doing right now. Oh, and the last thing I should tell you, over the last 6 months, as I've been talking to some of the few hundred people who are using Lotto Dominator to make a six-figure income off about $25 or $35 per week in tickets, they've been telling me that there are some other websites on the internet that also talk about winning the lottery. It's pretty disgraceful, but they've been saying that these sites are run by people who have no clue about what they're talking about. Well, you've just listened to my story and saw with your very own eyes proof that the results I've gotten are 100% genuine, and that the repeat winnings of the people I've helped so far are 100% genuine. But because I know being trustworthy is huge, I'm also going to take this one step further and offer you a 100% money-back guarantee that's good for a full 60 days. Here's how it works. You simply click the Add to Cart button that you see below this presentation now. Once you do that, and enter your information through the secure checkout page I've set up, you'll be taken to a special VIP members-only area where you get immediate access to Lotto Dominator. You can view the tips, the advice, and, of course, the winning predictive formula right from your computer, tablet, or smartphone. And then just follow the exact steps I tell you inside. Try out my method for a full 60 days with absolutely zero risk. I already know you're going to get some enormous wins here, but I also know that seeing is believing, which is why I want you to experience the power of holding winner after winner for yourself. So, if for any reason whatsoever you're not completely satisfied with your decision over the next 60 days, simply send an email to the address I'll provide you inside the VIP members-only area, and I'll instantly refund your $97 with absolutely zero questions asked. So really, what possibly do you have to lose? You're basically just saying maybe to a lottery prediction method that's already helped many other people just like you to make serious money from the lottery, some even millions. And if you change your mind, That's perfectly okay. I'm not bothered by it, and you get your investment returned immediately. I honestly don't think that's going to happen, though, because Lotto Dominator has been proven to work time and time again. So go ahead and try it out for yourself now by clicking the Add to Cart button right now. Really, the decision is yours, but can you really see for any reason not to change your life today? If not, then go ahead and act now, and you'll have access to the complete method in about 2 minutes from now. It's that simple. To a life full of prosperity and joy, Richard, Orlando, Florida. Are you still here? That's perfectly fine. I understand you might still have some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them right here, so that you can feel 100% happy with your small investment today. 1. Isn't the lottery entirely random? Not at all. This is where many people get confused. The lottery isn't completely random. Instead, it's a game created by humans, which means that, at the end of the day, it has to be winnable. That's why you sometimes hear about individuals finding flaws in the lotto and making a boatload of money as a result. Just a few years ago, a group of MIT students did just that and won $8 million. They got in trouble, but they weren't even doing anything immoral. They just found a loophole. There are actually many stories just like this, but it's very important to always remember that what I'm showing you is 100% legal and ethical and not being dishonest at all. It might feel kind of bizarre when you win so often, but you're doing nothing wrong. 2. How do I use Lotto Dominator to win the lotto multiple times? First, you track the winning numbers for the games you want to play. These can be found online, so you can get an excellent sample size pretty fast. Then, you simply input those numbers into the formula you get inside Lotto Dominator, and it predicts a new set of winning numbers. You're not going to win the lottery every single time, but this is all about probability theory. By using this formula, you significantly increase your chances of winning from improbable to extremely great. 3. How much money can I expect to win using Lotto Dominator? Mostly, I usually focus on 2 pretty good-sized wins per month. One thing that's really neat about this method is that you typically don't just get 1 or 2 numbers correct. It predicts between 4 and 6. Which means the prizes you'll win are likely to be much higher than just a couple $100. 4. What are the terms of the guarantee again? This one's really easy. You get Lotto Dominator for yourself right now by clicking the Add to Cart button that you see at the bottom of the screen. Then, use the method for a full 60 days and see just how much money it will make for you. If for any reason whatsoever you change your mind about it, just send me an email and I'll immediately refund your investment with no questions asked. You have a full 60 days. 5. How do I get Lotto Dominator? Easy. Click the Add to Cart button that you see below. You'll then receive instant access to my guide, my formulas, my winning tips, and everything else needed to start nailing big tickets for huge payouts. It's that easy.